This property is right on the River Thames. When I met the client originally, she was looking for somebody who could be relatively bold and also be able to understand the process of what had transpired over the last 50 years and to see how we can keep all the best components of it and then to be able to slowly unpeel it, taking all the big, very mature taxus hedges out. So it was very much trying to look at all the elements of it, understand all the good parts of it, and then be able to decide on what we were going to add to, remove. So it was a whole process of looking at investigating everything. The client wanted somebody who could who could effectively hold her hand, but also make those bold decisions that need to be made. You know, after all, the garden had been here for 50 years and it had sort of matured. The style of the garden had changed dramatically, as in the way we look at gardens nowadays. It was very much sort of quite enclosed spaces, and ours was very much to open the spaces up and to actually make more use of the garden, as opposed to it being very much a garden you looked into but couldn't see beyond. The garden had no sort of nice entertaining area, there was no dining area, so we've created a really nice dining area with a freestanding barbecue and all basically the kind of things you would want to have in your garden to do your outside entertaining in. The stream was it was functional, but it just was a long line. Water just carried all the way through like a normal stream would, and we've now interrupted that stream, and then that now bends and twists. So when you stand from one end, you can suddenly see a lot more movement in the actual structure of the stream. And also when you walk along it, you have this interruption of movement and noise of water, which we never had before. And then we've done the reflection pool, the D-pond, so you have this affinity edge, which gives it sort of more contemporary style. So traditional, but then giving a sort of a twist on the contemporary style. And then we've underlit that. So it's, again, very dramatic at night. You have to remember, during the day, you know, you can still have your beautiful garden, but even more so in the evenings, you can have very dramatic spaces with lighting that's not overlit. And as I always say about lighting, you shouldn't see the source, you should see the light itself, how it spills out and diffuses into the areas. You've got 27 acres here, and you couldn't see more than beyond half an acre of it because there was this enclosed hedge. You had no idea there was a stream there. And I understand about, you know, what we always talk about, and that's you create rooms in your gardens like a house. You create different rooms, you create corridors. But this one, it was just so cut off from the rest of the world that existed outside it. You suddenly thought, what a shame, you know, I'd love to have a vista through. And there was a sort of a vista, but it was all in a sort of cutout window in the hedge, which was a great idea in the 80s, late 80s. That was all sort of quite the thing to do. Yes, when you then walk over the bridge, you then see the water, the weir and all of that, but there was no drama. It was a fountain courtyard. And now we have a fountain courtyard with views across. There's a beautiful existing cherry tree there that we've managed to preserve. And then as the eye starts taking you forward, your view starts taking you forward, then we've got our sort of circular taxus hedge. And then there was an eagle already here on the wonderful plinth, and that was just tucked to the side with no real reason as to why it was there. It was there by the bridge, which we've shrunk, this culverted bridge, which we've made much smaller, again to enforce this water movement. You know, it's all flowing through our land. It's there. There's something that you're borrowing. It's the water that comes from a spring that builds up momentum as it's coming down through the property, and then obviously exit out into the Thames. And we wanted to capture all that drama of the noise, the weirs, and the way that the water then curves around. So all of these things didn't really exist, but they were there, and there as a tool for me to be able to enhance, to use to the benefit of the garden and to the experience of when you're walking through. So you have these different wonderful, unexpected, oh, you're going over a bridge and suddenly you see these other weirs. And then there's just, it all unfolds. The garden, has the beauty of it. You keep on discovering more spaces, and because it's such a large property, you know, there is such a large space that you can walk. I mean, you can spend half a day walking around it and still only just about absorb everything that's here. So it's a journey of discoveries. It's effectively what I came to do, and open it up and, you know, give it a good spring clean.